Welcome, class. This is Mr. Vargas, and the details are in for the AP Computer Science exam. So I just wanted to give you guys a few details, and then after that, I wanted to introduce you to the first practice problem that we're gonna do to help us get ready for this exam. So first thing, I just wanted to let you know when the exam is. So the exam is gonna be on Friday, May 15th at 4 p.m. So the AP Computer Science A is on Friday, May 15th at 4 p.m. There is also a makeup day on June 3rd at 2, but I really would do my best to try to get the to be able to take the test on the first date. So that's when the exam is. Some other information: the exam is going to be computer based, and it's going to be open notes, open internet. You can even use your IDE, which I'm sure will make a lot of you guys happy. I know a lot of you guys didn't really like writing code on paper, and it just turns out you won't have to. You can actually code it in an IDE. Um, so other things about the exam: it's going to be two free response questions. The first one is going to be focused on arrays or an array list, and that'll be 65% of the test. That question, they're going to give you 20, it's going to be timed. So you're going to get 25 minutes to do this question, and then you're going to get 5 minutes to submit it. The question two is going to be 35% of the test, and it's going to be on methods and control structures. And this one will be 35% of the test, and this one will take 15 minutes. They're going to give you 15 minutes to do this, and then 5 minutes to submit. So again, you can use an IDE. Whatever computer you use to access the question, that's the same computer you need to use to submit the question. And there will be some practice, some demo runs, so you can practice the making sure that the software works correctly on your computer and all that. So just be on the lookout for that information. Now, so the way I'm gonna review for this is I'm actually gonna start with question two: methods and control structures, and just writing classes. And the reason for that is because in order to, any question you do is going to use methods, and a lot of them are going to use control structures like if statements and loops. So I'm going to start off with this category of questions, and then I'm going to end up with arrays and array lists. And since this is open notes, I basically want to give you guys a couple of questions that I think are very reflective of what you might see. And I would love it if you guys have, I don't know if everyone has a printer available, but if you had a printer, you could print out the solutions to the questions we're going to review over the next few weeks. That would be great. If you could just have like a folder with solutions, maybe annotate them, ready to go. If you don't have, if you don't have paper or printer, that's fine. You can also just have the solutions on your computer, and you can, be able to go look at them as you work on answering the questions. So this week, your practice question. So I'm going to try to do one question a week. I don't see the point of just over inundating you. I'd rather you guys know 6 questions inside and out, as opposed to just giving you endless questions and never really able to kind of break them down and just really understand them. So we're going to do one question a week. And this week's question, so if you do the math, that's going to be about 2 questions in this category, and then 3 or 4 questions in that have to do with array or array list. So this week's question that you guys are going to work on is actually from the 2019 exam, and this is a question called Step Tracker. And so again, I'm gonna actually give this to you in AP Classroom. AP Classroom is a little, I don't know, kind of frustrating to use. I don't really get to see what students see, so hopefully it's not too frustrating for you guys. But I did want to. I was thinking of doing this in Google Classroom, but because the AP exam is computerized, I'm assuming that the question you actually do is gonna be set up like this, and you're gonna submit it the same way you do an AP Classroom. So I think it would probably be a good idea to use their software, and hopefully it works out for us. So again, I'm going to assign this to you, and it should show up in your AP Classroom as soon as you log in. All right, so Step Tracker. You are creating a step tracker class, and I'm just going to jump to the bottom. Write the complete step tracker class, include the constructor and any required instance variables and methods. So just like we did the dog class, you're going to do the step tracker class. Okay. They tell you have to do a constructor. They tell you you need to do instance variables, but they don't tell you what those instance variables are. The methods, they actually tell you what methods you're going to have to create, right? So add daily steps, active days, average steps. So you're going to have to create these methods and, read the little descriptions here. In a way, this question is kind of like a puzzle. They only give you pieces of the information, and you need to be able to take those pieces and kind of put it all together. Now, this is a big piece of this puzzle. This table right here is essentially a runner for the step tracker class. It's showing you when you create a step tracker and you run this code, this is what will be returned if the code returns anything. All right, so it's kind of like a runner, not completely, because some of these, like all of these that actually return a value, notice there's no print statement here. So you might, if you wanted to write the runner for this, you would have to add a print statement in front of any of the lines of code that actually return anything. If not, nothing will get output. So they're giving you basically the runner, and now you have to write the class. Like I mentioned, you have to do the constructor, right? So first thing is you might want to look over here, right? And that might help you a little bit. You got to do these methods, right? So, look at the way the methods are set up. Look at what they return. If they don't return anything, then what's the return type? So that's basically. So I'm not gonna go too much in depth on this. I think part of the challenge is going to be you guys reading this, looking at this, and then trying to write the class. Again, one thing that might help you is turning this into a runner. I mean, I'll give you this is how I did it when I went to do this, just to make sure my solution worked. I made a runner, and this is not a solution or anything. This is just basically turning this into a runner class so that I can make sure that my step tracker worked correctly. And when you run this, it outputs these values. So that's it. That's your first practice question. It's called step tracker. It'll show up inside AP Classroom under FRQ practice 1. You're going to code it, make sure it works the way you want, and then you're going to submit it. And these are the formats you can submit in. So notice there's no Java file, so you can submit it as a text file or Word file, and that's fine. So you're gonna get this done, and by Wednesday, and then on Friday I will submit a video that explains the solution and talk about how scoring works. All right, thank you.